Welcome to Mastering Your Financial Life, hosted by Judy Heft, the founder and CEO of Judy Heft and Associates Financial and Lifestyle Concierge. This year, they're celebrating 26 years in business. In every episode, Judy interviews professionals who help others successfully manage their financial lives. You can find this show on YouTube, LinkedIn, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. Judy is the author of 2 books, How to Be Smart, Successful, and Organized with Your Money for a Better Today and Tomorrow, and her latest book, Mastering Your Financial Life Cycles, How to Successfully Manage Money in Every Decade of Life. You can read chapters of her books and catch prior episodes of this show at www.judithheft.com. Now here's the host of Mastering Your Financial Life, Judy Heft.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back. I think this is our 31st or 32nd show of Mastering Your Financial Life. I'm Judy Heft, Financial and Lifestyle Concierge. And today I'm really excited and thrilled to be here with David Mosenson. David is the founder and president of J&G Associates, a life, long-term care, and disability insurance company. They're independent brokers, which means that they have access to any agent out there, any company, which makes it really great because they're not locked in and they can give you the best prices on the best products. And they have a comprehensive financial approach to helping their clients. So thank you, David. Thank you for being my guest today. I'm really thrilled to have you here. And if I left anything out in introducing you, please enlighten our listeners.
Okay, thanks a lot. It's a pleasure to be here.
So I'd said it all. So tell me what your role is in J&G Associates. I know that you brought your son in to the business, which is great to see that family legacy survive. So tell me about your role and what J&G Associates really is.
Yeah, so J&G Associates is a family-owned business that I started 44 years ago. The firm provides sophisticated life insurance, estate tax, and general planning, mostly to ultra-high net worth individuals. Our firm's completely virtual, and we're literally scattered all over the globe. So our planning is done out of Philadelphia. Our attorneys are in Chicago. The CEO and director of our operations is actually my daughter who lives in Australia. My son, who's worked with me for 18 years, is the vice president. And most recently, my future son-in-law works with us out of South Carolina. And then we have a host of employees that are really scattered around the East Coast. We really don't even have offices anymore. You know, the pandemic really changed our business. So my clientele consists mostly of individuals and families who have a minimum net worth of $25 million to the billionaire in the family office space. However, the firm provides services to the clients that have, value and net worth less than $25 million. When working with our clients, we act as a general contractor, typically helping them develop a comprehensive plan and then work with their advisors. If their advisors aren't up to the task, we will then recommend advisors to the clients who would be able to help them implement the planning. And there's no fee for the work that we do. Something that we bring to the table that I think makes us very unique is our ability to be extremely empathetic to our clients and their situations. Everybody has stuff. Our families had our fair share of tragedy that really enables us to talk frankly and be a very caring manner when working with the clients. So my eldest son was killed in a car accident 20 years ago, age 20. 1 year prior to that, my 27-year-old brother-in-law was killed in the World Trade Tower attack. My daughter, who had a bout with traumatic brain injury and concussion for 3 years and still has some effects. And most recently, my 36-year-old daughter-in-law had a stroke. So, people can't tell us, I'm not going to get sick, I'm not going to die, accidents don't happen. That doesn't sit with us. Tell us you don't like your kids, you don't like your wife, you don't like life, and, we can deal with that. So, that's sort of like who we are.
That's great. So you really have that personal understanding of what tragedies can be and why insurance is so needed. So what are some of the cases that you're working on now? Like, give us some examples. I know that you had that lottery winner. I don't know if that's typical, but that was a pretty interesting case.
Yeah. So, we can talk about the lottery winner. So this was a situation where a family won $264 million and ended up $100 million after paying taxes and the present value. And the attorney that they were working with, unbeknownst to them and the attorney was directing some investments to people he thought were, good investments, and actually it turned out being a front for the mob. So his clients actually lost $100 million. This family lost $17 million. Needless to say, they found a new accountant, a new attorney, and we were brought in by both of those firms to take a look at all the work that this family had done, from a life insurance, estate tax, philanthropic planning, cash flow analysis, investments. So in working with them, it was really a unique situation, because just imagine one day you're living in a $300,000 house, your refrigerator breaks, and you would have to, put on your charge card to, pay for the repairs. And the next day you wake up and you have $400,000 a month interest to spend. You would all think, geez, that's great. Well, it's not. In this situation, it wasn't. Aside from the fact that I'm losing the money, you learn that security is not your Ring doorbell anymore. You now have to worry about, who's driving your kids. So it's background checks. So when we were working with them, we got, like I said, we had to revamp all their estate tax planning, all their insurance, their security, their philanthropy was set up wrong. And the social impact that it had on the family, because they had set up like 15 trusts, $1 million each for 15 family members. They don't even talk to the 15 family members anymore, because the family members just kept coming back for more and more and more. Then it was, we had to work on, believe it or not, some cash flow analysis. And it wasn't a cash flow where they would run out of money, but it was just the way some of the planning was done that really caused some complicated issues. So that was one of them. The typical client that we get involved with is somebody who has lots of stuff. They have companies, they have insurance, they have money, they have kids, they have spouses, and they have advisors, and they've really never sat down and worked on implementing a plan, or they've gotten bad advice. Another situation that we're dealing with is a family that was looking to have a liquidity event last year. And because of the pandemic, it just did not happen. But dad's 85. He owns 85% of a company that's worth $50 million. They've done no estate tax planning. The two kids run the business. They don't have any, what they call, we'll term it succession planning, that when dad dies, what happens with the business. There's no key person insurance on the two younger family members who are running the business, that if, either of them died, would have a significant impact on the business. One of the things that when we're dealing with our clients is, everybody thinks life insurance, estate tax planning, income tax planning, but until somebody works with us, you really are not going to fully understand the scope of what we do. And I'll take an esoteric case. My next door neighbor is the CFO of a college that has locations in New York and California. They were looking to do some real estate transactions, and he was talking to me, and through our networks, Judy, I was able to put him into people that we were, talk about doing some really sophisticated tax planning on these transactions. But then we got into, really the nitty gritty, and the college does not have an endowment fund. I mean, you're talking about a college that's 85 years old, has a $100 million budget, and doesn't have an endowment fund. So we're actually working with them on helping them build and create an endowment fund. And then from there, we were talking about loyalty programs and helping them establish and introducing this to people to where they might be able to implement a loyalty program which would generate revenue. Another situation that we were brought into was an accountant up in Boston has a client. It's very interesting. Has a company worth $200 million that he was going to sell to Google. Except Google was going to shut the company down, which is, think of that. A company's going to spend $200 million to buy a company to shut it down because it competes with technology that they already had. And, he wanted his name out there. So he's decided to sell that, his company to a university. And the idea was that at the end of the day, he wanted to take $150 million donated to charity and have $50 million go to his grandkids. It was a very complicated, it is a very complicated tax situation. So we were brought in not only to talk about the income tax ramifications, how to set up the philanthropy, but how best to have that money get down to the grandkids. And basically one of the things that we were talking about was, let's not donate 150 million, donate 200 million, take back an income coming out of a charitable annuity, and then buy $100 million of life insurance, which would be out of the state, which is a much more economical, smart way to do it. So that's the type of stuff that we get involved with. And then, people who just need planning, they need wills, they need some life insurance, they need long-term care insurance, the people in our firm are able to handle that also.
You probably see a lot of the same things that I do. I find it shocking that people with, even substantial wealth or minimal amount of wealth don't have their documents in order. They don't have wills. They don't have healthcare proxies. They don't have insurance. They don't think they need it. They're afraid to name their guardians. And so that's why they don't have a will. It's just crazy to me. But
we find people fall into one of three categories. One, they have no planning, which you're right. When you have a liquidity event, or you've got money, or you've got kids, just to have the basic planning and is incredible. Then you've got the people who have planning, but they felt loyal to their college roommate, and he's a divorce attorney, and he's done their planning, and it's all wrong. Or, planning is outdated. Most people fall into one of those three categories.
No, it's true. I see a lot of that also. Well, let's take a little break here, David, and then we'll come back and we'll chat some more.
Okay.
Hey there. I just want to tell you a little bit about my new book that just came out called Mastering Your Financial Life Cycles. And here it is. It's how to successfully manage your money in every decade of life. I co-authored this with my CFO, Liz Levy. And together we created this manual that's going to help you through every stage of life. We talk about having a baby. We talk about young adulthood, pre-retirement, what to do when you're at that age of retirement. If you're contemplating divorce, do you need an estate plan? We cover all of these, each subject in a different chapter. And I really think that you're going to find this so helpful, because at the end of every chapter, we have checklists that you can look at and you can use, and they can be a guide for you. So this is a wonderful manual that we've created. It's available on Amazon. You can also find it on our website at judithheft.com/book. And we're here for you. If you need anything, reach out. I hope you enjoy the book. Here's another picture of it, just so you know what's going on. Here it is. And I'm really proud of it. It's my second book. And I'd love to have you read it and give me your feedback. Judy Heft, judithheft.com, financial and lifestyle concierge, celebrating 26 years in business. And over the years, I've learned so much. And what I've been trying to do is impart a little bit of this knowledge to you, so I can help all of you become as financially organized as I am.
And we're back. Thank you. Back here with David Mosenson, founder and CEO of J&G Associates. So, David, what are some of the challenges that you have to face in your area of work? I mean, I guess some of it must be convincing people that they really need a good plan in place and not to wait till there's a crisis, or, one thing I'm taking away from it, I got to remember to buy a lottery ticket and then not tell anybody when I win. Notice I didn't say if.
That's right.
It's when I win, but I'm not telling anybody except maybe my advisors.
Yeah, it's funny because if you notice, the person that won the $2 billion still hasn't surfaced.
Yeah, they're smart.
Yeah, and there's 1,000 people with his name, so people who are trying to find him. Good
luck.
Really?
They announced his name?
Yeah, they announced his name, and there's 1,000 people in the U.S. with his name.
Oh, it's not Judy Heft.
No.
You got to buy the ticket first. That's the small detail.
The challenge that we face is getting advisors or just people who know people who have the types of clients or friends that we work with to just be willing to arrange a 45 Zoom meeting with our team. We're looking to be introduced to people who have stuff, money, companies, children, homes, boats, planes, because, the more stuff they have, the more planning opportunities are available for us to introduce them to. And more often than not, we'll expose clients to problems they don't even know that they have and come up with solutions that they never heard of. I mean, just give you an example. We really do a deep dive on all aspects of a person's planning, whether it's looking at the investments or the property casualty, the life insurance, and these things, and we don't do wills. I mean, we don't do legal work. We don't do accounting. We don't do valuations. We don't do property casualty. We don't do assets under management, really. We do life insurance, but we're diving into all of those, topics with a client. And just something happened the other day. We were brought in to work on a case with a family that's worth probably, I don't know, maybe $40–50 million. And it was really just a look-see. And when we got into the weeds and we really dug deep, we started to read the life insurance trust. And the idea of a life insurance trust is to keep the insurance proceeds out of the taxable estate. And there was one line in this 50-page document that basically said that the proceeds of this trust have to pay the estate taxes. And once what that did, that really blew the whole idea of the trust, because the trust was dictating what happened, the probability, 99.999%, those insurance proceeds would have been brought back into his estate. And he paid one of the major law firms in New York City about $50,000 to do his estate tax planning, which, this was a major faux pas. So that's the type of stuff that we do.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a little bit of forensic work there.
Yeah.
You got to, figure out what's the best product for your clients and what they've got, and, check out all the loopholes. That's great that you can do that. So, let me just ask you this quick question. So if you could send yourself from 10 years ago a message that's only lasting 10 seconds, what would that message be? And why would you do that?
I'm going to go back further than 10 years. I'm going to go back to 40 years, if that's okay with you. The message to myself would be, stop trying to be everything to everybody and know all the answers. It's not important to know the answer to every question of the client asks, but it's more important to have the right people who can give the right answers.
That's so true. That's something that I try to tell my team all the time. I had a bookkeeper that I recently had to release into the universe, let's say, because she just wasn't communicating with the clients. If she didn't know the answer, she was ignoring the emails. And that's, when I finally realized that this was not working, you have to, if you don't know the answer, tell the client, I don't know, I'll research it and get back to you. Don't ignore them. It's better just to have something to say. So that's really good advice. So yeah, 40 years ago, we were different people than we are today.
Yes, that's right.
That's different. So what's the best way for clients or professionals to reach you? Where can they find you?
The best way is just pick up the phone and give me a call. The number is 516-238-6711. Or of course, you can send me an email, and it's David.Mosenson@j-gassociates.com.
And are you on LinkedIn?
We're on LinkedIn.
They can find you on LinkedIn. What about a website?
Yeah, we have an extensive website. Mm-hmm. 15 months in the making.
It takes time, doesn't it? So you have your whole family is on your team, which is fantastic. Yeah. And do you have division of responsibilities for each of those family members?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Everybody is, saying that was one of the interesting things, because my son was with me for 18 years. And I'll just give a quick story with my daughter, how she ended up. So she used to work for Make-A-Wish Foundation as a wish coordinator. So that was a lot of logistics. Then she went to Australia, worked in a couple of companies where finance and logistics. Came back February pre-COVID and was going to be here for 2 weeks, and COVID's rearing its ugly head. And Dad, the borders are going to close. I'm going to be stuck in. COVID's going to be 2 weeks. You'll spend an extra 2 weeks with Mom and Dad, which became 2 years. But it was like, when she was stuck here, it's like, what am I going to do? Because if I take a job, as soon as the borders open up, I'm leaving. I said, we never had a CEO, CFO. And we've got to do rebranding and websites and a lot of the stuff that you have experience. You want to try being the CEO? She said, okay. So I now have to call my son and say, Jonathan, what do you think of the idea of your sister running the company and coming in? And that night I get a call from my son, Dad, your daughter's a moron. This is not going to work. And about an hour later, I get a call from my daughter, Dad, I can't do this. Jonathan's an idiot. And luckily, we were already working with the company. So I called this person, Tina. I said, Tina, you got 2 weeks to solve this problem. This is yours. 2.5 years later, it's worked out really well.
Oh, that's great. I remember, I grew up in the family clothing business. And when my father wanted me to come in on a regular permanent basis because I had been working there through college and all different types of things. And I had some other jobs. And then I was like, knew I had to make that commitment. I wasn't going to go work for my dad or get in the family business and leave after 6 months or a year. So that was a big commitment. So I get it. And there's nothing like having your parents as your boss. It's the best.
Well, it's a little different here because it's a little different because I'm really not their boss because I've told them, look, this is going to be your company. Mm-hmm. So you go with it and take with it, where you think it's going to go. So they've implemented, tremendous technology into our company where, if it were me without them, it would have been the good old usual. It worked for me, but now it's a whole different company, whole different way of doing business.
Well, lots of good luck. It's great to have the family. You can trust them and they have your best interests at heart. So thank you, David. Thank you so much for being a guest. I really enjoyed speaking with you today. I think
Judy, this was great. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
You've been listening to Mastering Your Financial Life, hosted by Judy Heft. Thank you for your positive reviews, comments, and sharing this show with others. You can read chapters of Judy's books and catch prior episodes of Mastering Your Financial Life at www.judithheft.com.